right, everybody, welcome back. August 19th, 2022. It is Friday. I hope the beginning of your weekend is starting well or does start well. Quick video for you this evening. We're going to touch base on this now being called potential Tropical Cyclone 4 down in the southwest Gulf of Mexico. Could be a pretty significant threat to South Texas. As you can see on the radar charts that are current right now, this thing is beginning to bubble up and take form into that cyclone shape. The next thing we will see is that counterclockwise spin as it moves in a north to northwest direction. As I said, more than likely affecting southern Texas as well as the eastern Gulf half of Mexico. As far as it goes for the time frame of this storm, you can see the low pressure is right here in that little western pocket of the Gulf, still over water, so still getting more and more powerful. As we saw in the radar chart, those storms are bubbling out from the middle and exploding through those top high-level clouds. As you could see on the timeline here, now that we've reached that potential tropical cyclone level, chances are this will become a tropical storm fairly quickly. That's what these S's represent, as in storm or tropical storm. So we're almost in that tropical depression range. As of 1 p.m. tomorrow, this thing should be right off that eastern coast of Mexico. We can see the blue line here where they have the tropical storm warnings going on right now. This includes that southern part of Texas, which will probably get its heaviest effects super early in the morning on Sunday or even late Saturday night. Taking another quick look at the radar charts, you can see these black clouds bubbling out on the eastern side of the storm. That is a fairly common occurrence if you kind of visualize this thing spinning in a counterclockwise direction. More times than not, the strongest part of these storms is that upper northeast quadrant, which is where you're seeing these storms bubbling up. This thing is going to move in a northwestern direction up towards that border of Mexico and Texas. As far as the current stats for the storm, you can see right here we are at 1,009 millibars in pressure. The maximum sustained wind speeds right now are 30 knots or 35 miles per hour, about 10 miles an hour away from that tropical storm strength, which will more than likely hit. We're at an 80% chance of potential cyclone formation right now. Let's see what Accuweather has to say about this. As you can see in this chart down here, this entire area of red is under that high development potential area, and because the low pressure system is over water completely, chances are it's going to strengthen up fairly quickly. I don't see this thing hitting a category 1, but a tropical storm nonetheless will bring a lot of moisture and flash flooding to these areas of southern Texas. As you can see right here, a tropical storm warning was issued for the lower Texas coast from Port Mansfield southward to the mouth of the Rio Grande. The government of Mexico also issued a tropical storm warning for areas of Boca de Catan northward to the mouth of the Rio Grande. As I'm sure many of you know, the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season has been off to a super slow start, and more times than not, when that happens, once we approach those times around mid-August to early September without many storms, a lot of people tend to say that the entire season's a wash, but I can assure you that is not going to be the case. When it comes to making predictions or forecasting, it's not too good to go past 5 days into the forecast, but what we could do here on Tropical Tidbits is sort of get an idea of what to expect over the next few weeks, and within the next week and a half, we could potentially see another tropical storm forming in the Gulf and going towards the panhandle of Florida, and then as we approach that peak hurricane season, we are going to start seeing these storms one way or another coming off that Western Africa coast down here, the Cape Verde Islands, traveling along that warm water belt, and sooner than later, my friends, we will be dealing with some sort of major hurricane approaching the United States. It may happen a little sooner than this. It could happen in many different ways, but the point is peak hurricane season is just that. In fact, many of the mainstream outlets as far as weather goes have issued some updates on what they expect the rest of the season to look like. In this first paragraph right here, despite the quieter start to the tropical season, Accuweather's team of long-range forecasters still expect an active season with a high chance for high-impact hurricanes on the U.S. mainland. It only takes one, my friend. It could be a super busy season, but none of them hit land. But all it takes is that one big hurricane that could change a lot for a lot of people. As of today, the 2022 forecast is still expecting 16 named storms. That's counting the 3 we've already had, so 13 more storms. 6 to 8 of those becoming hurricanes, 3 to 5 becoming major hurricanes. That's anything 111 miles per hour or higher, or a category 3 and higher. And then take a look at this one right here, direct U.S. impacts. That's one you don't usually see a lot of. They added this to the list and they're saying 4 to 6 of these projected storms may hit the United States. We're going to take a look at 2 more charts here, and you can see these spaghetti plots for this storm. We have about 10 different projections here. Most of these take this storm in a perfect northwest direction, right towards that southern tip of Texas. We can expect a lot of flash flooding on these strip islands that stick out of this area of the Gulf. Again, we spoke about the Rio Grande and the warnings put out by Mexico. Here is the chart for potential Tropical Cyclone 4 model intensity guidance chart. That's a mouthful, but basically what this chart shows is how strong strong this thing may get. Now again, most of these are keeping it as a tropical storm as it approaches land and then dying down quickly once making contact, whether that be South Texas or Mexico itself, and then kind of plateauing out as the land interaction will decrease the storm's strength. One of these models takes us up to a high-grade tropical storm, nearly getting to that Category 1 strength. Some of the areas that should be looking out for this storm in many different ways, specifically in Texas, are the South Padre Islands right along this area here. You can see Harlingen right here. We got McAllen, and we can even bring this as far as Roma. This entire south chunk of Texas is within the cone of uncertainty with this storm, and once it hits land, it's supposed to curve down towards the south a little bit in this area. It might not make it up as far as Corpus Christi. Some of those outer bands that are in that counterclockwise spin may reach up and bring some heavy rains to Corpus Christi, Rockport, these areas here, but the main target area right now is just that southern tip of Texas. If we zoom out a little bit here, the spaghetti plots again have this going in a direction right about here, straight to the northwest, and then once hitting land right about here, it's going to be curving down in this direction, more than likely based on the jet stream dips. We're going to have to wait and see what happens as that interaction takes place. All right, my friends, we're going to keep this one short and sweet. Had some stuff going on this afternoon, but still wanted to touch base with all of you. We'll be back again tomorrow morning and throughout the weekend to keep track on this storm and everything else that's going on in the world. For those of you interested, I'll leave the link to this weather website right here, which has a very detailed satellite tracker. Very interesting stuff on this site, all different types of layers and things you can play with, and it gives you a lot of detail into these bubbling storms. This is how you kind of know this thing is really going to be off to a strong start. And again, these storms are bubbling in that northeastern quadrant of the storm. That is usually the strongest part of any tropical cyclone in the northern hemisphere, and sooner than later we're going to start seeing this thing spin as it moves up to that northwest direction right before contact with Mexico and Texas. All right, my friends, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. Questions or concerns, please leave down below. Shout out to Canada, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye. Stop right there, my friends. If you have not already, click that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Click all and you will get all notifications from this channel. And trust me, you won't be disappointed.